Hey guys, welcome to this nice little example video for finding these different measures of central tendency, measures of variation, as well as constructing a 5-number summary and a box plot, all using your calculator. Make this nice and easy for you, okay? So I'm going to be working off of an example from our textbook, or from the textbook that this class was built off of. We don't have a textbook, I'm sorry about that. This is a fun term for this stuff. But I will have this example data listed on the My Open Math page, as well as in the description of this video, as well as probably a couple other places that it'll be. But what this data sums up very simply is it's the count of the number of chocolate chips in some Chips Ahoy cookies. Okay, so this data looks at 40 different cookies and it recorded the number of different chocolate chips in them. Now these are, I'm assuming, big cookies and small chocolate chips because there's quite a few chips in these, and if you like chocolate, that's great. So the first thing we have to learn how to do is how to enter data into our calculator. So to do that, if you look on the screen here, I've got a little emulator. This is an emulator of TI-84 Plus. This is something that you can get for free for 6 months due to this coronavirus stuff by going to Texas Instruments and just searching Texas Instruments free 6-month trial. And you should be able to link to this, and you'll be able to download this kind of the same exact emulator. I have the screen kind of reduced down so you don't need to see all of the bells and whistles of everything else, but you can see what I'm using. So here's the same keypad you would normally see. If you had this calculator yourself, your screen would just be right here. It'd be a little bigger than this little thing here, but got a nice big screen here. So remember, we are in a stats class, so what we want to do is hit the stat button. Now this is the same no matter what version of calculator you have. If you have a TI 83, 84, any of those versions, this is all the same. So you're going to hit stat, and we want to choose edit. It's going to take us here. We're going to see L1, L2. These represent our lists. If something happens and you accidentally delete one of these lists, and let's see here. I'm going to go up, and then I hit delete, and it's like, oh my god, where'd L1 go? Don't panic. It's super easy. Go back to stat. We're just going to go setup editor. Option number 5, enter one more time, and it's done. Okay, now if I come back in here, I've got everything there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter this information, and the easiest way to do that is to simply type it in, and you're just going to type in the number, hit enter. Okay, I'm doing this on my keyboard, so bear with me. Perfect. Okay, now I did that really quick, right? And this is something that I've done a lot. I'm also just using a computer keyboard, so it's a lot simpler. But all I literally did is I looked at the data that's listed in this table, and I just typed it in. So what you would do if you're doing this by hand on here, you would just type, if you want to type in a 3030, enter. What's cool is by highlighting this last entry, we can see that's the 40th entry. And as I said, this was a study done on 40 different cookies. So we can see that I have all of my data values typed in there. None of them are listed twice. I don't have anything missing. I've got all 40 values. Okay, that is one of those big mistakes, right? Data entry is a big error reason for mistakes in statistics. So once we have this in here, it's really easy to get our mean as well as our standard deviation and our 5-number summary, which, remember, your 5-number summary comes with the median in it as well. So the way we're going to do that is very simply we're going back to stat. Okay, you don't have to quit. So if you wanted to, you could use second quit, but you absolutely don't have to. You can just say we're in the editor. You can just simply hit stat again. And now we want to go over to calculate. Okay, we're going to go to calculate, and we want to do this first option here, this 1-bar stats. What that stands for is simply one variable statistics. Okay, if you had 2 different variables going on here, 2 different situations that you were dealing with, you do that, but we're just dealing with one. So we choose option number 1. Depending on which version of the calculator you have, you're going to either see this menu here, or you may see no menu at all. It may just on your home screen say 1-bar stats. either if that's the case, just hit enter. We don't need to do anything here either, so we're just going to enter, enter, and then enter and calculate. And we get this screen here. Okay, this screen gives us a lot of information. Some of it is really useful to us right now. Some of it is not very useful to us right now, and some of it is not going to be useful to us this entire term. But the biggest thing to look at here is this first line here. This is our x bar, which if you remember, that's since it's an x, that stands for the sample mean. X bar is the sample mean. However, since the sample mean and population mean are both calculated this exact same way, it just gives us the 1, and instead of trying to type out a mu or anything like that, it just has x bar. So this is the mean of our data set. So that means on average, the number of chocolate chips that these Chips Ahoy cookies have is 23.95, or about 24 chocolate chips per cookie. It's not bad if you like chocolate chips. So this one here is, this little symbol is sigma, right? So if you remember from the original lecture, sigma is just a way of writing to sum all over all. So we are summing over all of the x's. In other words, this is the sum of all of the data values. So if we took all 40 of those chocolate chips counts that we made and added them up, we would get 958. If we squared those values and then added